This is take number 2. Take numero dos. Good morning, delivery fam, and welcome to another episode of BRAT of the Day. Before we continue, I want to make sure y'all can hear everything. Since this is take number 2. If you're watching on the replay and you wasn't here for take number 1, you just missed out. That's all it is. Can you hear me? Take number 2. Can you hear me? He had tech problems. Okay. All right. Y'all can hear me now. All right. So, this morning we're going to be talking about DoorDash. A topic that everybody has covered already. And it's about the driver. My topic is DoorDash driver makes a few bad decisions over an $8 tip. But before we dive into any of that, if you have not done so already, I need you to do me a favor and hit subscribe, click the bell, and join the family, because nobody else will understand what you go through except another driver just like you. All right. And if you have any bad rating stories that you would like to share, whether it's from the apps, if it's the app's fault, a driver's fault, the restaurant's fault, the customer's fault, doesn't even matter. If you have any bad rating stories you want to share, go ahead and send them to bratoftheday@gmail.com. All right. This one right here. All right. And since this is take number 2, I got to do this again because this one is a mission. We had a submission for the customer notes, featured customer notes. So y'all know, once y'all hear this music, it's a mission. So we're going to get through it again for those that are on take number 2 with me. Okay, let's go. It says, leave it at my door. All right. Turn from conference onto Windsor Green. You'll see apartments on both sides. Turn right into Piccadilly 2. Once you turn to the right, you're directly in front of the office. Turn left and follow the road up a slight hill until you're directly behind the main office. And then you'll go up the hill that starts next to the mailboxes. There is only one hill. Mailboxes are on the left of where it starts. Once you're going up the hill, turn on your first left. I'm in building Y on the front. Apartment 958. Please follow these instructions once you turn into the complex. GPS will take you to the correct, will not take you to the correct building. And what I said in take number 1 was, if these customers, if they don't have a physical disability or something that's preventing them from leaving that apartment, why don't they just meet us instead of writing this whole freaking paragraph, this whole story? I had to chop it into 2. That's how long it was. Okay. Now, one more thing I want to share with y'all, since we're talking about missions here. Look at this. What the hell, DoorDash? Who the hell gonna drive 21.4 miles for 3 items from a pet store for $9.75? I mean, I know somebody gonna do it, but guess what I did? Decline. $9.75? Who the? Why? Why would you do this? Why would you do this? 21.4 miles from a pet store. You don't know if that's 3 big bags of dog food. You gonna get your workout. If you took this, whoever took this after me, hey, bless your heart. Anyway, with that said, let's cut the music off. Let's get this story started, okay? This story, I know a lot of you already know it. DoorDash Dad covered it. Driver Man covered it. Matter of fact, Driver Man was the channel that I watched this video. And I'm not going to be playing this video, mainly because you guys, if you have not seen it already, just type in the 2 names that I just mentioned, and they play the video in their video, okay? Just type in the 2 names in YouTube, and you will be able to watch this video for yourself. But I wanted to kind of like, let me just briefly tell you what happened. A driver makes a delivery and is on a Ring camera. In case you don't know, they make a delivery, they're on a Ring camera, Matter of fact, let me play my little music. They're on a Ring camera. They go and try to have a conversation, or like some will call it a confrontation, with the customer. Okay? Now, this confrontation is because this driver drove 12 and a half miles, and they said they drove 40 minutes to this customer's location. And the reason why they want to talk to the customer or confront the customer is because the customer left an $8 tip. If you wish to watch the video, check out Driver Man or DoorDash Dad. I'm not going to be playing the video. Now, I have so many questions, and I don't think I could ask all the questions in this stream. And I know some of y'all probably have the same exact questions or even more questions that you would like to ask. Now, the first question that I have, and I want to open up the lines this morning so you can call in, if you wish to call in, to express how you feel about this driver's decision. I call them bad decisions, but you can call in when I open up the lines. But my first question is this. Is this really a DoorDash driver? I mean, they were saying things that just don't sound right. It don't sit well with me when it comes down to DoorDash. They said they can't see the miles. They can't see certain information up front, but on DoorDash you can. I'm like, okay, is this really a DoorDash driver, right? Or was this another driver from a different platform and it's coming off as if it's a DoorDash driver? Okay, that's question number one that I have, right? I was thinking, all right, Postmates, you can't see the miles. You just see a straight line. you know, Grubhub, you can't see the miles. You just see your pay. You got to make these guesstimates between those two apps. So I don't know. I mean, on Uber Eats and DoorDash, they show you where you're going and how far you're going. They show you all this info. So I'm like, something ain't right there. All right. Was this really a DoorDash driver? That's question number one. Let's go to question number two. Why accept an order that you would consider the pickup and drop off a far drive? She said Comac to, what's the other place? I wrote it down. Smithtown to Comac. I've never been to these places, but if you know, when you see it on the map, because they all have GPS, when you see it on the map, you see you're going from Smithtown to Comac, right? Why would you accept an order that you would consider the pickup and drop off a far distance? Next question I have is, was she new? There's something ain't right. It ain't sitting well with me, family. Was she a new driver? Did she feel like what she was doing was okay? Anyway, 12 and a half miles is not 40 minutes. It's not a 40-minute drive. 12 and a half miles. I know. I don't even have to calculate anything. I know it's not a 40-minute drive. We know it's not a 40-minute drive. But then again, I don't live in Long Island. Okay? I don't know nothing about the traffic there, but one thing I do know, traffic can get bad in New York. I'm just saying, traffic can get bad in New York. And one of the comments that I pulled from one of the videos, I got it from Driver Man's video, and it says this: I mean, y'all don't live in Long Island. Around here, these rich people love to play us when it comes to tips. But she's being rude. Comac isn't that far from Smithtown, but when there's traffic, it's crazy. So did the driver have good reason to be frustrated? Or, I mean, I wouldn't take, especially during rush hour. DoorDash dad did a little bit of investigating, and that man zoomed in on the time and the date. DoorDash dad, salute, bro. I didn't even know that was on the screen. DoorDash dad, again, salute. All right. That man zoomed in on the time and the date. It's so blurry you can't even tell what numbers it is, but he kind of figured it out, right? And he figured out it happened before B Hunt. This happened back in August, okay? So I'm like, okay, the time that it mentioned was 6:09 p.m. or something like that, right? It was dinner rush. So dinner rush, there's traffic. At least at 6 p.m., rush hour traffic. So was there really a 40-minute delay on a possible 15 to 20-minute drive? Actually, 20 additional minute delay. That's another question I have. Something's not right here. It's just not sitting well with me at all. Now, I'm gonna ask this last question. Then I'm gonna open up the lines and I'm gonna give y'all some shout outs and we're gonna talk. All right. This is my last question for this stream. The cost of living is high in New York. So is $8 really enough though? Is $8 like the $2? Even if it's still a tip, but it's like us as drivers, we consider a $2 tip like, you know what, man? They don't consider the miles, the gas, and everything else that we got to go through and pay for all our expenses. So $2 is not enough. A lot of people will say $5 should be the minimum tip. And I understand. But in New York, the cost of living is high. So is $8 really enough? For me, in my market, heck yeah, that's good money. But in that state, is it really enough? What y'all think, family? Let's open up the lines, see what y'all have to say. All right, we're going to open up the lines, and I'm going to put the number up on the screen. 754-225-2655. Call in and express how you feel about this particular situation. I'm already asking, was this really a DoorDash driver? Or was it another platform and they try to make it seem like it was a DoorDash driver? Was this driver new? Some things just don't sit well with me because, again, as a veteran driver or a driver that knows their market, you know the traffic in that area. You know what to avoid. You might not take every doggone short. You might not know the shortcuts, all right? You might not know all the shortcuts, but you're going to take an $8 tip. I don't know how much the payout was, an $8 tip, and drive 40 minutes to drop that off. I avoid. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. The lines are open at the moment, family, if you want to call in. But let's read the chat here. Let's see. Mafia fam, E-Man, good morning. $1,700 for one bedroom in New York is cheap, right? Okay. Dopey Alvarez says, a new person. Mrs. Dawn 305 says, you never know somebody's situation. That $8 could have been a lot for that person to give somebody, especially during a pandemic. She should be grateful she got an $8. She got a tip. It's her fault for accepting. Yes. As veteran drivers, it is always your fault from our perspective. If you accept an order and you do that order, don't complain later. And if this is a DoorDash driver, you have the option to unassign, get it unassigned, reassign, whatever. You have that option. I'm like, if you accept it, you got to do it, and you got to take everything that comes with it. Y'all called me the brat of the day when I did that alcohol delivery. The 15 mediums? Yep, UDM. A lot of y'all was like, UDM, you're the brat of the day, man. You're the brat. You're the brat. And I accept it. I accepted $2 for 15 mediums. So in this case, yes. Don't accept something you do not want. If it's challenging, you find that out later, but hey, you eat that. I don't mean eat the food. Don't eat the people's food. What I mean is you take that and you try to make a better decision later on. You just got to deal with that. You already made a bad decision. And sometimes we don't know when these bad decisions are we don't know what we're walking into when we accept an order. It could be a bad dog situation. It could be a crazy note situation. We don't know until we get to the customer. That's it. So if you accept an order, yes, as veteran drivers, you're supposed to just take it, man. Just deal with it. Get through it. Move past it. Going back to the chat here. All right. Mafia fam says, that's in the hood. Okay. Monique Milner, good morning. Decline from the get-go. But this person is saying they could not see certain information up front. And this is the reason why I'm like, yo, was this a DoorDash driver? They couldn't see miles. Was this a DoorDash driver? All right. I can't find a video. You can't find a video? DoorDash Dan. He got the video up. DoorDash Dan. Look it up. Mr. JB says, as a vet, you do have to accept the dealings with your decision. Just shake your head and on to the next. Yes. And that's where I'm at. No problem, Heather Patori. Kevin Anderson says, they should not have ever accepted that. That's my point. That's my point. It shouldn't have been accepted. And that's why I say it's a few bad decisions on the driver's part. Okay, one bad decision. If it is a DoorDash driver, they didn't see the miles. Okay, fine, right? But they know Smithtown to Comac. They feel like that's a far drive. Why accept it? You can see that on the GPS. Why accept that? First bad decision. Second bad decision, you see the tip. Why you knocking on these people's door? Leave the food and go on about your business. Right? Okay. That's a second bad decision. You're trying to confront or have a conversation with the customer. Third bad decision. They don't want to talk to you face to face, or adjust their tip, and you take it all the way back 12 and a half miles? What's that? 25 miles? 25 miles? With a possible deactivation? Because your video is on the internet? That's a bad decision. And you don't even get full pay. You might get half pay if it is a DoorDash driver. I don't know, man. There's a lot of bad decisions here. Herbert Child says, it doesn't matter if it's DoorDash or not. It is not okay to confront the customer. Totally agree. Even B. Hunt, she understood the repercussions. She understood she wasn't supposed to. But at the time, she felt like she should. You're not supposed to, but she felt like she should for the sake of her family and whoever else that might see it. She didn't expect it to go viral, but she was like, I got to get this out there. She let people share her video to places that would pretty much make it viral. And now here we go with this video. I know I'm just talking, but it's like I'm almost venting at the same time because I'm like, yo, another video. A lot of people question whether these videos are real or not. All right. Now, I watch that video. I feel like that video is real. This is just my perspective. I feel like that video is real, right? But is it a DoorDash driver? I don't know. And I'm going to say I don't think so. Because you see all this information up front. But between Grubhub and Postmates, I don't know if those two apps are in that market, but those two, you can't see certain information up front. And driving 12 and a half miles, you know what I'm saying? It's like some will say, and in the comment section of some of these videos I have seen, some say that, it's just to make the driver look bad. They're saying it's DoorDash, or they're saying they're putting out these videos now because they're trying to make the driver look bad, right? And I understand why you feel that way. I seriously do, But it's like, it's just the same thing as, why would you walk up to someone's door? You see the Ring camera. You push the button. Then you take a sip of the shake. If you know we're in a pandemic and it's a leave it at the door, why would you run or make the delivery butt boongy naked? You know you're on camera. Why? And all of these are supposedly supposed to be DoorDash drivers. You know what I'm saying? Like DoorDash, allegedly, DoorDash. It's a lot of DoorDash. I know as a driver, DoorDash do a lot of crappy stuff and shady stuff to drivers. But is it always really DoorDash? Or that's how the picture is painted because DoorDash is the number one. I honestly feel like if that driver could not see all the information, this was not DoorDash. And this is you could challenge me on it. I seriously feel like this wasn't DoorDash. If the driver could not see all that information in your face, let me show you this. I got a perfect screenshot right here. How can you not see all the information if it is DoorDash? You see the you see the store name. You see the time you got to deliver it by. You see the items. You see the miles and the pay. How can this really be DoorDash? I'm just saying, how can this really be DoorDash? I'm not defending DoorDash, but I'm like, and I'm not saying that these types of drivers don't exist on DoorDash, but I'm like, all this information up in your face, and this driver saying you can't see all of this. I feel like it's being painted to, like it is a DoorDash driver, and it is what it is. That's just where I'm at. I'm confuffled. My brain is fried. That's pretty much what that word means. All right? Confuffled. I don't know. I'm all puzzled by this. There's just so many bad decisions and so many questions that I have. It just doesn't make sense. Now, a driver confronting a customer over an $8 tip, that is something tangible. We could look at that. We could be like, all right, you're really making a big deal over the 12 and a half miles you just drove for an $8 tip, and you're going to take those 12 and a half miles back with the $8 tip. Like, we could see that, and we could hear that argument. You know what I'm saying? All right, going back to the chat here. I'm doing enough talking. I'm doing a little bit of venting, too, because it's like, damn, this stuff don't make no doggone sense to me. All right, Heather Patori says, okay, I watched it. I'm back. Man, she was rude, and she took the food. Her fault for accepting it. Right. That's something we could see. Yeah. Don't be mad at the fact you accepted something, and you're now delivering it, and they left you a tip, and you didn't like what you see. All right. Mrs. Dawn 305 says, I bet you she only saw the money and accepted right away, not realizing the mileage. Probably. It could be that too. Nito Tona says, no mask, no hot bag, and no gloves. In this pandemic, right? Okay. Marie Blankenship says, and there are offers where DoorDash have changed the address, and a 5-mile trip was changed to 20 miles after pickup. Whoa. That is new to me. I did not know that. I'm not experiencing that. One thing I have seen is while the order's coming through, it will say, like say it says 4.5 miles. And then while it's still on my screen, it will change from 4.5 to maybe 6 miles. Or even sometimes it would do it less, like 4.5 to 2.9. You know, that's what I've seen, but I didn't accept it yet. You know, going back to the chat here, Kevin Anderson says it had to be Grubhub or Postmates, and driver did not know her market. Right? That's what it feels like. Sasquatch 1213 says some people just have tunnel vision and only see the money. That's true too. Now, let's say it is DoorDash. An $8 tip, $3 base pay. All right? I think. All right? Because they have their times, they push that thing up and bring it down to $2. All right? Let's just go with the better option. $3 base pay, $8. That's $11 for 12 and a half miles. If you accept $11 for 12 and a half miles, okay, it's less than $1 per mile one way. You just got to finish that. Do what you got to do and keep it moving, you know? Marie Blankenship says, that's why I don't take orders with changed addresses. Nope. We don't know. Some of these customers, they get smart and they send a text message, hey, that's the wrong address. Or it's only like it's only 5 blocks the other way, you know, and whatever. Marie Blankenship, if you wish to see the video, go to DoorDash Dad or Driver Man. All right. I'm going to put both of those, Driver Man in the chat, DoorDash Dad. All right. Both of them play the video. I chose not to play the video because it's just, you know, everybody playing the video. I'm going to just send y'all to where the video's at. All right. All right. So Sean Corcoran. Sean. I'm going to just say Sean. I'm sorry I butchered your last name. But when you say not true, what exactly were you talking about or responding to that is not true? Heather Patori says, has anyone seen in GPS how far it actually is? I have done tests from time to time to see how far of a drive it was. But I would do that after I get to the customer, and then I would open it up in my GPS, and then I would go back, take it back to the restaurant that I picked up from. It's easier to find the restaurant versus finding the customer's address. So while I'm at the customer's, I would then do a search through my GPS of the restaurant that I picked up from to see the total miles. And majority of the time is very close. It's very close. Like say 2.9, 2.8 miles. It's very close. All right. So going back to the chat here. Kim Clayton says, yes, I have had the mileage change while on a live dash. Wow. Tasha Pearl says, oh yeah, they do the switcheroo on you. Bogus 154 says, change of mileage happened to me twice after I accepted. It must be some. Y'all know how DoorDash do us. I'm not saying these companies ain't shady, man. All of them shady. Okay? All of them. You know, so if they're doing a switcheroo on you, I just haven't experienced it yet. But I'm not saying it's not happening. But I do see some changes going on in the app. You know, David Tucker says, I think it was Grubhub. I think that was Grubhub. DoorDash Dad Marie. Okay. Kim Clayton says, however, I called support and they put the customer on the phone with me and we discussed an additional tip, to compensate for the mileage. And I did receive the additional pay from the customer. Okay. Yeah. But that's something they didn't have to do it. But I guess they showed a bit of empathy about the additional that you had to do to get that done for them. You know, it's basically doing them a favor. Daniel Baldwin says the driver taking the food back might have saved the customer's life because who knows what she could have done to that food during that 40-minute drive. Again, 12.5 miles. It don't take 40 minutes to drive 12.5 miles. But if you're in like a bumper to bumper, if you're in a bumper to bumper market, that's dinner rush. According to the investigation with DoorDash Dad, it was like after 6 p.m. You know what I'm saying? That's dinner rush. That's like the beginning of dinner rush and rush hour. Now, I don't know what that traffic is like in that market, but it sounds like, hey, 12.5 miles during rush hour, dinner rush? Oh, yeah, it sounds like, it might be 40 minutes, but It's your job as the driver to know what to avoid, especially if you know you're going from Smithtown to Comac. Rush hour. If it's bad traffic. Anyway, finishing up here, Heather Pretori says, Comac, New York to Smithfield. What state is Smithfield? It's what? Now you messing me up. Wait, what's the name of the place? Smithtown, not Smithfield. Anyway, Sasquatch says, another lesson to learn here is, once again, know your area. Boom. That's it. Big lesson to learn here. Mr. JB says, being a vet, know your area, count your offer versus mileage, etc. This formula is in my head every time I drive. And you know mine? I know with Uber, I have about 10 seconds to make a decision. But I always make sure, at least I try to make sure, 98% of the time, because I ain't perfect, 98% of the time, I look at the pay and the mileage, not the time, the total time it takes to get it done. Why? Because I know my shortcuts. I know how to get around a lot of the traffic. Okay? A lot of the traffic. But anyway, the thing is, the pay and the mileage gotta always make sense to me. And if this is a DoorDash driver, $11 going 12 and a half miles, that don't make sense to me. And I wouldn't think twice about declining that. I wouldn't. Because I wouldn't think about, let's say it was $25 for 12 and a half miles. All right? $25 for 12 and a half miles. I would probably think about the pay, the mile. Okay, cool. I ain't thinking about traffic. But then after accepting that, I'll be like, oh, geez, rush hour. It's going to take me 40 minutes. Am I okay with these 40 minutes for $25? Yeah. But that's the last thing on my list. I ain't thinking about traffic at the point of accepting the order. I would think about traffic after the fact. But the pay and the miles got to make sense before I hit accept. And if it don't make sense, I'm not accepting. And that's the difference between a veteran driver and a new driver. So all these questions about what type of driver that person was, what platform were they working, and all that, were they new? Did they understand what they can and cannot do? There's a million questions that we could ask. But this one right here is just another one of those videos that now getting surfaced because of whatever the reason is, and it's tagged with DoorDash, So let's see here. Gonna read just a couple more questions, comments. All right, and then we're gonna start wrapping this up. All right. Matt B says, I don't think most customers have any idea what the apps pay us. I think they think we get the delivery fees. Yes. I salute to you for bringing that up. The fact that that driver was saying to that customer, I don't think you know how far I had to drive, or I don't think you know, and if you knew, you would give me more than what you gave. That's not the exact words that she said, but she was like assuming that the customer knows better. The customer in their mind. Here's another thing in the defense of the customer before I say any additional thing. In the defense of the customer, when they place the order, they don't know what dasher is going to. It could be the closest dasher or the furthest dasher. Don't know. But it's going to be a dasher within the area. When they leave that $8 tip, they expect it to go to the dasher that's closest, or the dasher that might not. They're probably not even thinking about mileage, but they're placing an order with a decent tip, and it's up to DoorDash or the platform. All right, since we're talking about DoorDash, since this is tagged with DoorDash, it's up to DoorDash to pay the driver fairly to go get that order. But in this case, I think y'all understand what I'm trying to say here. When the customer places the order, they don't know who it's going to. It's not their job to pay more. It's not their job or their duty to pay, or their obligation to pay more in a tip because, it might be going to the furthest driver. No, it's not their obligation. That's not their obligation at all. All right. DoorDash is supposed to compensate the driver fairly. This is something we have said multiple times. But it is also the driver's obligation, or it's the driver's responsibility to not take something that does not make sense. So if that driver takes something that DoorDash offers, it's the driver's responsibility to hit decline. And it's DoorDash's responsibility to find a driver that's going to take this. And if they can't find one, then they're going to have to up the pay. We've talked about this a million times on this channel. New drivers, veteran drivers, y'all know. I've said a million times. I've had many people ask me. All right. So each person has their responsibility. The customer in this equation should be left out because the customer already did their part and they left a decent tip. Now, the question I asked earlier was if in that state, right, the cost of living is high. So is $8 really good? Or should it be 10? Should it be 15? Don't know. But I'm just saying that customer already did their part. DoorDash got to find a driver. If the first driver, what they offer the driver for going 12 and a half miles is what that driver decides to accept, it is now that driver's responsibility. No complaining. No complaining. And that's where I'm at. All right. We've already talked a lot about this. Y'all have seen the videos. If you haven't seen the video, again, I'm going to give a shout out to DoorDash Dad. That man did some investigating. He zoomed in on the timestamp, the date. I was like, I couldn't even see that till he zoomed in on it. It is what it is. DoorDash Dad, salute. Driver man, salute. Dios, salute to you for sharing this with me and getting me in on the conversation. This is all I really had to say, family. I had opened up the lines, but I guess y'all didn't want to call in. So it's cool. I close the lines now. Y'all have a positive and blessed day. And let's continue the conversation. I just have my questions. You go ahead and ask your questions in the comment section down below. I read a few responses. I'm gonna read 2 more, and then we're gonna make our way out. The Word Keeper says, I received an order months ago for 1 item. The address was another branch of the same restaurant. I thought, okay, they ran out of this item. The real address was 1 hour and 30 minutes away. I unassigned. Exactly. Right? Bugs Bunny 007 says, I remember accept $9 tips for 4 miles. Guess what happened? She tipped me now like $22 when I was going to send thanks for tips. Okay. And that's it. That's it, family. There's so many questions. And I feel like they're legitimate questions. And if you enjoyed this conversation, squeeze the life out of that like button for me. If you agree with some of the things that I said, even if you don't agree with 100%, whatever you disagree with, put it in the comment section down below. Let's get the conversation going because these things happen more frequently than we think. All right. So with that said, family, I hope y'all enjoyed it. All right. I hope y'all enjoyed this conversation about this. And I hope these types of things get sorted out without having to go online. I hope drivers aren't just putting this stuff out there just to get another viral video or to just make the companies look bad. I will say this last thing. The existence of these companies are a blessing in my eyes. All right. They're a blessing in my eyes. Now, I'm going to do everything I need to do from my side to be successful for myself while using the platform as a way to make money. All right. I'm going to do it. I'm going to stay within the guidelines or the policies and all that. I'm going to follow the rules that I signed. But I'm not out here to make the company look like this is bad. This is terrible. This can be bad. So I really don't want to be talking about this anymore. I don't. You know, even if it's another driver that comes up a month later that's doing something terrible, I don't even want to talk about it anymore, to be honest. This stuff is heartbreaking. You know, we're out here, the real drivers out here, we're doing these things, and we go out here, we make our money, you know, and time and time again, more money, more problems, right? So now they're worth how many billions of dollars, and it's just more problems. And these videos are going viral, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse, man. And I'm honestly tired of, you know, seeing drivers doing crap. I'm honestly tired. So with that said, family, I don't know how you feel about what I just said, but hey, we're all entitled to our own opinions and all that. Hey, you know, that's just me. I've been doing this going on 4 years. I'm almost at 4 years. March of 2021 will be 4 years. I've been doing this successfully for almost 4 years. And if you're a driver that's been doing this a year, you need experience. If you're a driver that just started in 2020 because of the pandemic, you need experience. And you could gain a lot of experience by talking to veteran drivers, but at the same time, I don't even want to expose these things anymore. I know other channels probably will, but I don't want to do it anymore, man. I just want to focus on going to get my money, like this one right here. Oh yeah! Like I said, family, I'm only thinking about one thing. Time to go get your money. That's it.